Gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Did they all just fade away? Holding you in my arms made me feel so happy. Then you said you had to go. What's wrong? Baby, I need to know.
Welcome into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. Listen, that video had to be one of the saddest videos of all time. When he had his pregnant little mama, not in real life, but the girl in the video. Listen, I like to clarify, Andy. People halfway listen. You know what I'm saying? So just in case, I want to make sure that I give all the disclaimers around things, especially as we go deeper into this conversation tonight. Because, yeah, but that was a truly sad video. Listen, shout out to all Charlie Wilson's sons. Aaron Hall, R. Kelly, Cisco. All of them, okay? I just want to say that. Shout out to Urban Spencer saying, she said, I'm surprised Andy didn't play Don't Be Afraid. Listen, Don't Be Afraid was the jam, but I knew back then when it came out, I was like, these lyrics are wrong.
Listen, I was about to play that song, but I wanted to hear I Miss You because that song was a banger.
It was a banger. You know, so sad that, might have to add Aaron to the list. Might have to. Uh-oh. Here we go.
And you know what's crazy?
What?
We be complaining about today's R&B. It got you thinking like, yo, all these R&B cats in the 80s and 90s.
They were pieces of work.
Y'all was living all the way foul. In front of the cameras, you over here serenading people. Back in the scenes, you over here grimy.
I mean, but so let me ask you this, because this is something that I wonder, right? I believe to a certain extent, right? And not everybody, y'all, but to a certain extent, power corrupts, right? If you get everything laid at your feet, so to speak, right? Because let's be real. And of course, you shouldn't take advantage of it. But I know how I felt as a kid for certain artists. In my mind, I was like, I meet them. Oh, they're going to sweep me off my feet. This is going to be my boyfriend. And life is going to be amazing. And if I could just meet them and get close, right? So you put that times 10, 15,000. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know at what point, because you're going to indulge a little. Everybody would. A little, right? That's part of the fun. But at what point does it get to be too much, and how do you contain yourself? People don't moderation. I don't know if people actually moderate that. You got to think of the fact that a lot of them are pretty young when these things come up, and the environment is such is that women do make themselves available. I think I told you guys a couple of months ago that on the Legacy tour, which Guy happened to be on, so there were women, grown women, candy girls, like they were teenagers or older back in the 80s, that were in the lobby of New Edition's hotel trying to meet up and, relive their childhood fantasy.
Joe, what are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to say, I'm just going to say it. Sometimes there are women that are going to open themselves up for certain things for an experience. I say that as someone who has been around the entertainment business for the majority of my life, for more than 30 years. I am not saying that that is a cause for them to be taken advantage of or anything of that nature. What I am saying is that there are some women that are with the game. They're with it. And then sometimes some of them may have buyer's remorse. Some, not all. Some, not all. Some may have thought they were with it and had a very horrible experience. And that is why they change things. It's murky. It's very hard. It's murky. But I would not be being, and this isn't, I know the term, what's the term, pick me, that people say. This is not being a pick me, because again, I don't think anyone should be victimized or put in a position. I'm just telling you some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I still have seen.
So who does the responsibility land on? Because
in what aspect of it?
The aspect that some of these women, your breakdown sounds as if like these women kind of know what to expect to a degree.
I think some do.
So they go in there, like you said, all willy nilly, like I'm for all of it, right? They experience it, they realize that it wasn't for them, and then years later, they regret what it is that they do. So is it? I guess as a man, I understand that there's a responsibility. Like, look, there are some women that might be free and loose, and of course, generally speaking, they're going to take advantage of that. Should it be their responsibility to not take advantage?
Again, I probably have an interesting perspective on this. I think that sometimes the way that we speak about women in these circumstances makes them seem helpless. That, this is going to get me in trouble. I have to think very carefully and make sure that I'm saying this the right way. When we come forward, I will break this down.
Need some time to think.
All the way. I don't need any time to think. I just know what I'm supposed to do here for my job. When we come forward, I'm going to give you my response to that. And then we're also going to break down these Aaron Hall accusations and some other things that have come along with that. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So let me explain my point. We have a caller on the line, but let me explain what I mean. I do not think that a woman should be victimized. Of course, I do not think that if, you're in an intimate situation and something in that situation starts to make you uncomfortable, you have the right to say no, right? What I am saying, though, is that sometimes I wonder, and I'm not specifically talking about any of the cases that have been announced recently, just in general, sometimes I wonder if because of the shift in thinking per se, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, women could be more protected in some of these ways, but has it caused us to sometimes think that a bad experience was a position you were put into where it may have just been a bad experience? You know what I mean? Something that you tried that you did not like. Again, only the people in the room would know, maybe people afterwards. It's just a question. I think sometimes the way that it is presented with some of these conversations, it is like women are helpless and they don't know. I understand there are all types of reasons when you're talking about abuse, why people won't leave, won't speak up. But just in general, sometimes the way that it's spoken about to me as if women don't have any agency. And so I just sometimes I think that we have to sit with that. And it's important, I guess, to hear the details. Those things are important to me. Fahima is on the line in the chat. She says, ain't nothing new under the sun. People have been exploiting and exploited since the birth of the blues. That is facts.
Fahima? You're supposed to play the harmonica behind that. But listen, Jill, hear me out.
Yes.
Okay? I think, and I'm going to give you an example with myself. I think your perspective has been shaped by what you have seen and observed.
100%.
And that's a normal, natural thing. Okay? Okay, like for me, for example, I work as a clinician and I also work as a university professor. If I only worked as a clinician, I would be to some degree of the mind of just seeing Black pathology and think that Black people are hopeless. If I was just working at the university, I would think, oh man, Black people are aspiring, acquiring, and achieving. But the thing is that and it's a normal, natural thing. A guy who may have been falsely accused may be inclined to believe that all of these women are lying. A person who may have been a victim of sexual violence may, automatically think everybody's guilty. And someone who has seen people willingly go to the casting couch, is going to be kind of suspect. And so what happens is what we have seen, experienced, and observed shapes the lens from which we view things from.
100%. It does. And I'm not in denial. I mean, and that's why I stated I have seen some things. I'm not I would not deny anyone the right to share their story. And if they feel they are victimized, they should absolutely come forward and present it. But what I am saying is that is why I think, a lot of times it's asked, why didn't executive A do anything, or why didn't these people say anything, or why didn't various things happen? And I think when people are in these situations and maybe follow it from A to B to C, sometimes between B and C gets tricky or fuzzy. True that, but
let me just say this, and because you made reference to, women it's assumed that women don't have agency, but in many instances, for example, like the situation with the guy the 15-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old girl, and some of the teenagers, minors who were R. Kelly's prey, they don't have agency. They're not. And even the situation with the girl Cassie, she was 19 years old. Diddy was in his 40s.
So let me ask you then, is she not an adult? Well, so this is my question. At 19, right? And we talk about this with many things. At 18, you can vote. You can do a lot of things. You are considered an adult. If you make a mistake and, accidentally steal something, or, do some type of light fraud. Let's say you put some extra unemployment in during the PPP. Do they say, and I'm asking these things again, I don't think that I'm not saying those women are lying or that they shouldn't have come forward. I'm not saying anything like that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're saying it. Look, let me tell you a quick story, real quick story. I have a friend who I was working on a film project with. There was a gentleman who I was his preceptor for his master's program, right? Mm-hmm. He had this program in the schools. So my friend was teaching. She had already started teaching in his summer program to teach film to kids in school. So he invited her to a meeting at one of the hotels. She didn't think anything of it. So she went to meet him at the hotel, and this man was planning to have sex with her. She resigned. You will see. You're not going to think that somebody's going to be a pig. She's thinking, he's a decent person. I'm working for him. He has this love for these kids, and he invites her to a meeting at the hotel. She's thinking, they're going to be in the restaurant. No, he wanted her to come up to his room to have sex with her. And so the thing is that, and this is a grown woman. Of course, she quit the job, right then and there, and told him it wasn't rolling like that. And oftentimes, people are placed in situations and not thinking anything of it. I very naively did something overseas, and it wasn't by the grace of God, I would have a horror story to tell. But in naivety, people do things not thinking anything is going to happen. And then sometimes people willingly do things.
So let me ask you this. I 100% agree with you, but where does the responsibility lie? And I'm not saying, again, people are taken advantage of, people will steamroll over them. But one thing happens, right? and
Mm-hmm.
you don't. I know that you have to work through things. You have to work up the courage. Obviously, if we're talking about something like Cassie and Diddy, she had to plan and figure out how she was going to get out of that situation, allegedly, right?
Right.
So it's not something that could happen overnight. And she realized, hey, this isn't right, and I don't feel good, and so I need to move, right?
Right. And even look at Cosby cases, right? And one of the young ladies from Brooklyn, I knew her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was the poet from Brooklyn. Nobody's going to think that Dr. Huxtable is going to put something in, spike their drinks and molest them.
I agree with that, Dr. Huxtable, but okay. So this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to break down the stuff with Aaron and Gloria, and I want you to call back after this, because I would love to hear if you feel so inclined to do so, because I would love to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you, Fahima. Always love your input. So listen, let's break down a little bit of what Diddy and Aaron Hall are accused of, and then we're going to get into why the Aaron Hall aspect in this particular case from the Times, but why it looks so damning based off of some interviews that Aaron did. And then we're going to get into the Luke aspect. So basically, Aaron and Sean are accused of sexual assault for two women, right? They said that they assaulted her and her friend at Aaron Hall's apartment in around 90 or 91. They alleged that this happened following an event at the office of MCA, which was the parent company for Uptown Records, right? And Guy was signed to MCA as well. So Diddy interned, we know, famously for Uptown Records, the Jodeci, the Mary, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's the MCA connection. MCA as a label technically doesn't exist anymore. It's owned by Geffen Records, right? They are also named in this suit. So they are basically asserting that after the party, they came home with them, that one girl was with Puff, one girl was with Aaron. Apologies for calling him Puff. I don't mean to confuse you, but he was Puff at that time. All right, so she said that Aaron was very aggressive, may have drugged her. She fell asleep, woke up. Diddy was coming in the room. Aaron was going out of the room. They kind of high-fived each other, switched off, and switched partners. That is what basically the allegations are. She didn't name the friend in the case. She's not a part of the lawsuit. The friend isn't, right? They said that they were flirtatious and handsy at the event with their friend, offered them drinks throughout the night. Towards the end of the night, they invited him back to Hall's apartment for an after party. More drinks happened, and they said, basically that they were coerced. Jane Doe, who is launching the suit, says that she was laying in bed, sleep, kind of shocked, traumatized, and that she was trying to get dressed. Hall barged into the room and pinned her down and forced her to have sex while Diddy went into the other room. She says she got dressed and ran home. Then it says that the following day or sometime later, Diddy showed up at the home where Jane Doe and her friend were staying. He became irate with them, allegedly choked Jane Doe until she passed out, and said that he was looking for the friend because he was concerned that they would tell at the time, right? So, and that he threatened them. She has said that she is trying to secure her medical documents from the time period, as well as witness statements. So that is that case, right? And we know that there was one other case that was talked about last week that has come forward. Her name is Joy Dickerson. She filed a lawsuit. She said same time frame that Diddy drugged and assaulted her in 91. Listen, those are pretty intense things, right? Accusations. So here is why it is a little tricky. Aaron Hall, I'm sure you've heard about it. The clips have resurfaced, and we're going to play a little bit of one of them, a Vlad TV interview a few years back, where he talked about, and let's be real, the interview was in 2015, okay? and he was sharing about his exploits, the life and times. One thing that we will do, you put a mic in front of somebody that is not quite at their heyday anymore, they're going to sing about those times and talk themselves right into something. That's a side note. But Aaron was sharing what he felt, his experiences, and he shared that everybody from Denzel to Jodeci to Diddy saw him having sex before he's packing, all of these things, right? But he also talked about, in this video, when he first met his son's mother, Gloria Velez, and how he got her. And we're going to play that. But the reason why this is relevant is that Gloria was 16 at the time when he met her. He met her, she was dancing backup for Luke, that Luke, 2 Live Crew Luke. Luke had strippers dancing backup for him, right? So the assumption is that she lied about her age. She had a fake ID because you can't be a stripper. So he met her in that environment and he didn't ask for ID or her age when he took her to the room and did what he claims he did first night. And then he said 3 days later she got a tattoo and they were locked in after that. I'm not sure at what point he found out her true age. Kind of don't know what to say about that, right? So we're going to listen to Aaron's comments, and then Gloria, who also, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to get all of them in before the break. We'll start with what he said. But here's the thing. Gloria now currently has a podcast on Vlad's podcast network. And coincidentally, a couple of months ago, she talked about Aaron's viral clip and the commentary about her. And she, had a follow-up comment to it. Mind you, she did this interview with Cisco. She's been in a lot of Cisco videos back in the day. And she and Cisco actually hung out for a minute. I don't know if you guys remember when Cisco did the Thong Song video. He was pictured at the end going to his hotel room with Gloria and Melissa Ford. Just want to put that out there. Gloria was also featured back in the day on... We'll probably get to it on the other side of the break. I'm going to run it down. Gloria was also featured back in the day on a video that is infamous and has made its rounds. It's a Luke video. It was in Cancun, and Luke was infamous for having these parties. And Gloria was on the video. This is one of the early internet drops that we saw. Was on the video doing some things that she probably shouldn't have been doing at her age with another woman, right? Again, underage. Some people are asking where are her parents. She was in the street. She was trying to hold herself down, take care of herself. And she was in a place where the assumption would be if you meet someone there, they are of age because they probably shouldn't be there. They definitely shouldn't be working there. We'll get into the details on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports coming up.
Making love till you walk through the night. I wish you was still here so I can see your pretty face again. Please come back and rescue me from all this pain and misery.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The issue of redistricting in Louisiana is back in court this week. A scheduled 7-day trial may determine whether political lines for state legislative seats will be redrawn. Plaintiffs claim Louisiana uses gerrymandered districts to dilute the black vote for both the U.S. House of Representatives and for state House and Senate seats. This week's trial will focus only on the state districts. A lawyer for imprisoned ex-Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of killing George Floyd, says there have been no updates provided to his client's family since he was stabbed behind bars. Minneapolis attorney Greg Erickson stated that he tried to reach out to the Federal Bureau of Prisons about 15 times. Chauvin was stabbed on Friday in the medium security prison in Arizona. He is in stable condition and is expected to survive. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Attention Los Angeles County residents. Dreaming of owning your own home? Looking for ways to generate income with your home? Or are you behind on payments and need help? Then mark your calendar for December 2nd. Join us at the Opening Doors Planning for the Stages of Home Ownership event at Magic Johnson Park in Willowbrook on December 2nd from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for workshops, a resource fair, and much more. Attendance is free. We'll have raffle prizes, food, and more. Dive into valuable resources designed to help you navigate the home ownership pipeline. To learn more or to register for the event, please visit our website, dcba.la/openingdoors. Again, that website is dcba.la/openingdoors. See you at Magic Johnson Park on December 2nd. Doors open at 8 a.m. for registration. This message is brought to you by LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yeah, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, you wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Shout out to Drew Hill. Come on, y'all know these are Charlie Wilson's sons. You know they are. Shout out to them though. Certainly was my jam. I would be hitting that high. Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we're breaking down the allegations against Aaron Hall, and we're taking a little look back into some comments that he made that could be potentially damning for him. And also looking at what his son's mother has said in response to all of the things that are coming around, because like I said, obviously these old interviews are coming back up. She has a podcast on Vlad's network currently right now, and she addressed these comments just a few months ago. One of her first guests on the show was Cisco. And you know Gloria, she was also a video girl. She was the girl in Big Pimpin' video that had on the fur and the hat. She was in Ja Rule's Holla Holla walking down the street. She was in DMX, What These Want from a... You know, all of these videos, she was known. She bad, beautiful, but she was mad young. So Aaron was about 30 when they met. She was 16. Again, they met when she was a backup dancer for Luke. And Luke weighed in on some commentary about this, but we'll get to that. Let's hear what Aaron and Gloria had to say about his comments.
Out there from Jamie Foxx to like Denzel Washington to whoever. Everybody know me.
Yeah.
So everybody know if I say it, I'm gonna it to death. I like the in public, you feel me?
Yeah.
So can't say nothing about it. Them square, them precious cake little.
Yeah.
I like for them to see how I like. You speak to Jodeci or Puffy or any of them. They been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big.
Yeah.
If a touch my and she say my is small, then she's a lying. The thing is, a whole lot of write about taking girls out to shop, taking girls to fly to Dubai and all that. Close your eyes, we anywhere. You feel me? And my whole thing is this. My whole thing is this, is that
talk about it.
If you can handle my and you can make me still be Aaron Hall without rapping out of your mouth, then I'll take you anywhere. Other than that, you back home.
So those were Aaron's comments. You know, he said he walked up and snatched the girl because she was with the man and whatever. I mean, we're going to call Aaron's comments what they are. Directly from a pimp's handbook. directly. All of that game he was spitting is pimp talk. All of it. We all know it. He talked about how he had a stutter at that time. A lot of people didn't know that, but he had a stutter problem. So he didn't even really speak to women. And for her, he said he just walked up and was like, you go on with me. You know, it's funny. I was talking to a pro athlete, right? Recently chatting, and we were chatting about back in the day. And so he was talking about like how when he first got in the league, you know, he would talk to girls a little bit or whatever, but he didn't really have a lot of game. Not that he had, like, he was smooth, but he didn't, you know, have a lot of game in that regard. And he said one time he tried it and was like, I'm gonna kidnap you. And he said the girl giggled and was like, okay, and left with them. And that became his go-to line, right? So, I don't know, at 16 years old, you're in a strip club, you're dancing for Luke. Would I think you were an adult? Maybe. Would you necessarily think to ask, like, let me see your ID? I don't know, right? I don't know. But that is what happened. Urban Spinster said exactly. She chose me. Look, let's take it to the Mac. Pretty Tony, don't be mad. Your chick chose me. I think that's what Julius said to Pretty Tony in the Mac. One of my favorite movies, by the way. That's a side. But look, Gloria, like I said, she has a podcast on the network, had her own commentary about his comments.
She was standing up with a Jamaican rapper named Mad Lion.
Oh, okay. This is Aaron. And it's going to go into Gloria.
Big Pun, Fat Joe, Method Man, like whoever you speak to, just ask them how I did it. I got out the limo, grabbed her hand, and went upstairs and her. When I saw her, she was dancing with Luke and them. I didn't know she was a puppy, you know what I mean? That's right. She was tall, she was big, blonde hair, bone with the black pant leather. I was like, I'm getting that. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows I couldn't even really speak then. I had a speech impediment. I don't stutter anymore. Mm-hmm. So I just went there and just grabbed her hand and went inside the hotel and gave it to her. My mother was Puerto Rican, from Ponce. So when I see anybody that's Spanish, I'm going to grab them. Okay. I ain't going to ask if you holding the hand all loose and you holding a conversation with a preach. I'm going to take your she chose up already. Now, if she want to go renegade.
So I want to say this in response to that we're in a better place now. He apologized to me and my son. He's great to my son, and now we have a grandchild, and he's a great grandfather. So I don't need a public apology. I don't care what people think or what people, you know, the past is the past. I forgive him for everything. And I think forgiveness is key to move forward for healing myself and healing him. And now we can laugh. We've cried about things and we move forward from it. Wow. Yeah. So that's why I could be on Vlad TV,
Slow
you know?
Clap. Slow clap, ladies and gentlemen. Slow clap.
Okay, so that was Cisco saying slow clap, slow clap. So listen, that is what she said in July of this year, right? Well, since the allegations have come out, she released a statement, so to speak, on Instagram. And the statement also was in reference to Luke. What she said was, if you don't think grooming is happening in this business, you're sadly mistaken. It started in 1994 with Luke and a few of these others in the business. I was in high school. Did her statement sound anything like that? Again, it's tricky. It's complicated. They have a 20-year-old son. They're grandparents together. So, you know, maybe that's why she went easy on him. She also said, this was a couple of years ago, she spoke out and she said this. Again, she and Aaron have had, you know, ups and down battles. Obviously, you hear how Aaron was speaking. It's no wonder. She was like, I've experienced a lot in this industry and never spoke out because I don't want to hurt anyone's career, even though they hurt me. The only reason why I spoke out about my son's father was because I had to protect my son from him. It wasn't about me. All my life, I've heard, yeah, you was young, but look at you. Your body, you're beautiful. So our society blames the woman always. Look at how you dress. Why did you go there with him? I'm happy women are finally speaking out. And I agree with her. However, again, I asked the question, if you are working as a stripper, as a dancer at 16 for Luke, and Luke said, and we're going to play it in a little bit, he recorded everything. Everybody signed waivers. They were supposed to check in. So you were being a little deceitful, but you had to get it, right? I don't know. It's a complicated thing. She, again, a couple months ago said she's not really tripping. So I don't know where this is going to go, but I know Aaron released something inadvertently that kind of seems to track with what was put out in this case, you know? And what I will say is, I'm going to say this allegedly. Back in the day, like, Aaron being allegedly abusive is not a new thing. Aaron has dogs, and allegedly he would use those dogs to keep women in line back in the day. There is someone that I know that is married to an R&B star right now. They used to deal with Aaron back in the day. That had a horrific experience with him. I don't know if she'll speak out while all of this is going on. Probably not. But horrific experience, allegedly. So, you know, I don't know. The industry, hip hop, was a very, very different place in the 90s. And was Gloria probably taken advantage of by these men? It seems to be something that is familiar, par for the course, in how they treated women. Is it considered grooming if they didn't know how old she was? Don't know. Andy?
I was just going to say I wanted to give DJ Vlad his flowers.
Because he broke everything first? He did it first?
I'm just saying, like, you know, I said this earlier today that I feel like I remember when that interview came out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, yo, I was telling my friends, like, yo, y'all got to watch Aaron Hall on DJ Vlad, man. This dude is over here just running his mouth. Like, yo, this dude is crazy, right? And it's crazy that fast forward years later that obviously this interview resurfaces, you know, based on the whole Diddy situation or whatnot. But the reason why I'm saying I want to give DJ Vlad his flowers is, you know, although he has the whole culture vulture stereotype behind him, he has these individuals that come on and pretty much tell on themselves, right? And it's like, you know, where was the outrage then?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he look at how freely he spoke about what it is that he did. You know, there was no outrage then. Granted, you know, it was Aaron Hall some years ago. People probably done forgot about him. But I'm just saying, I think, you know, us as consumers, we need to, you know, watch these interviews from DJ Vlad. It don't matter what celebrity he has on. You know what I'm saying? Or what, you know, piece from the culture that he had on or has on. We need to pay attention to these words. And if they end up telling on themselves about something ridiculous, we need to be on their head right then and there.
I agree with you. That is absolutely true. But I get, you know, to your point, people weren't worried about Aaron. They weren't thinking about him. It was just entertaining stories from back in the day. You know, I said this before, and obviously Aaron is R&B, but I do compare a lot of what happened with hip hop in the 90s to what happened with rock stars in the 70s and their groupie movement. And they went through their time of reckoning too, you know? So it's a lot to consider. Listen, who in the chat mentioned, Pretty Brown Mimi says, I can't believe that Aaron Hall's team thought that interview was going to be a good look. Does Aaron Hall have a team in 2015? Probably not. Probably was a good look to get him to be up relevant. However, Luke told a story. Luke used to have a TV show called Luke's Peep Show that came on back in the day. And Aaron was on there then sharing a similar story. And on the Peep Show, his label ended up asking them if they could edit or not air the interview, because Luke's Peep Show, obviously it was a show that was on a network that was produced by BET, the Action Network. A lot of people didn't know that, but it was, again, pretty advanced show, right? when I say advanced, I mean, it was definitely a Cinemax late night type of vibe. It was a hip hop video with no clothes on, and the women would be in there. And Luke said that Aaron was talking about how virile he was, for lack of a better term, and how he got with it. And Luke had said to him, yeah, R. Kelly says he's nastier than you. And Aaron was like, nobody's nastier than me. I'm Mr. Nasty Man, and went off and then utilized one of the young ladies that was on set to show exactly how nasty he was, a woman he had never met, and was in her butt on camera. And the label freaked out and was like, please take that out. Please never show this interview. So again, there are things that could look really, really, really bad for him. Fahima says a minor can't legally enter a contract. So if Luke knew she was only 16, he knows it's null and void if it even existed. I do understand that, but what Luke is asserting that he did not know that she gave ID and signed paperwork that she was of age, and he left it at that, video of the situation. So again, I know that a minor cannot legally enter into something, but if they present themselves as an adult, right, realistically, how much work should have been gone? And let me tell you the other reason why I low-key believe Luke in this, and we're going to play some of his commentary as well as some things that Suge Knight said. At that time, Luke was coming off of Banned in the USA, Supreme Court going after him. I would imagine, I don't know this to be fact, but I would imagine that you would want to have your legal stuff in order because you just got through kind of tussling with, some government officials and some key heads of states, and they were after him. Not sure, but that is just my thought to this. Fahima says, I read that. She said in the chat. Brother Alfonso says, all this comes down to we are in an era of autocorrect for what used to be given a pass. We definitely are. Some may say it's an overcorrection. We are definitely in a new era where things that were considered okay are not. People have learned the word grooming and are applying it to absolutely everything. Don't know how I feel about that, but it's there. And by saying I don't know how I feel about that, I am not denying the existence of grooming, that it happens, that it may have happened in some of these situations, but I do think the word is overly applied to things that may not necessarily fall under that specific category. When we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics, more headlines, more on this, a little bit of how Suge Knight has in the mix, and Luke. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do. Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So let's hear what Luke had to say about him grooming.
I just learned what the grooming means. I don't even know what the grooming means. Grooming. Fuck is grooming? They had to explain that to me. Y'all got the right one. I don't have no problem going to court. I'm not Russell Simmons. I'm not them other people. I don't do that. I know my brand. My brand is Luke. Hey, we want some face down up. That's what like me so horny. The problem is when you know your brand and you know what you're singing about, you subject yourself to be in that kind of trap faster. So what you have to do is really not be about what those songs is talking about, because you could get yourself jammed up. I video everything. Everybody sign releases. I do shows. Ain't no underage people be doing no show with me. I fire girls. You get caught. I have chaperone for the girls. A one head dancer. It's always one head dancer. And she put everybody in check. So if you're doing, this is not a traveling whorehouse. So you gonna mess around with these other artists, you're gonna get sent home, sweetheart. You get fired.
So that was Luke's commentary on that. We'll have to see. He's obviously not named in the suit, but just before anything gets started, he wanted to clear the air on that. When we come forward, we're going to get into what Suge Knight says he knows about Diddy. We're also going to get into one of the members of the band. His old interview has resurfaced. You know, all of these things are coming out of everywhere. We're going to talk about Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor. Was he jealous of her career? Plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Hour 3 is up next.
You know I like to serve it on the freaky side. Is that what you like? What you want, I can't ignore. So tell me what you're looking for.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black information.